In a world where power lies not in the hands of the many but the few, there exists an unseen giant. Our tale begins in the late 80s, when Blackrock was but a tiny pebble in the financial landscape. The year was 1988, a time of economic change and innovation. A group of visionaries led by Lawrence D. Fink decided to create a company that would transform the way we think about asset management. Born from the ashes of a financial crisis, Blackrock was the phoenix that rose, determined to innovate and redefine the industry. From its humble beginnings with just 8 employees in a single room, Blackrock has grown into the world's largest asset manager, a behemoth that oversees trillions in assets. This journey from fledgling startup to financial titan was not an overnight success. It was the result of strategic decisions, relentless ambition, and the ability to adapt to an ever-changing economic landscape. Over the years, Blackrock has expanded its reach, not only in terms of the assets it manages, but also in the influence it wields. Today, Blackrock is more than just an asset manager. It's a juggernaut that influences global finance in ways that few other institutions can. Its decisions impact markets around the world, and its strategies shape the future of investment. It's a company that has its fingers in every financial pie, from hedge funds and retirement accounts to government bonds and infrastructure projects. It's not just the sheer size of Blackrock that makes it an unseen giant. It's the company's ability to be everywhere, yet nowhere. To be involved in everything, yet remain largely unnoticed. It's this omnipresence, this ability to influence without being seen, that makes Blackrock a force to be reckoned with. The unseen giant Blackrock continues to grow, its influence spreading like shadow in the late afternoon. This power, this influence is what makes Blackrock the unseen giant of our contemporary world. And as this giant continues to grow, its shadow will only darken, its influence only deepen. From a single office in New York to a global monolith, Blackrock has become a juggernaut in the world of finance. Starting small, with only a handful of employees, Blackrock has grown into a titan of industry, managing trillions of dollars in assets. The seeds of this financial behemoth were planted in the late 80s. From there, it sprouted, branching out and sinking its roots deep into the fertile soil of the global economy. With each passing year, Blackrock's influence grew, its tendrils spreading across borders and oceans, reaching into markets worldwide. Blackrock's growth has been fueled by a series of strategic acquisitions and partnerships, each one serving to bolster its position on the world stage. The purchase of Barclays Global Investors in 2009 was a significant turning point. This acquisition catapulted Blackrock to the forefront of the asset management industry, making it the largest in the world. But Blackrock didn't stop there. It continued to expand, acquiring firms across the globe. From the United States to Asia, from Europe to Australia, Blackrock's footprint became truly global. Today, it stands as a monolith of money, its size nearly incomprehensible. Think about it this way. Blackrock manages more than $7 trillion in assets. If Blackrock were a country, it would have the third largest economy in the world, trailing only the United States and China. That's the scale we're talking about. And yet, Blackrock's size is not its most impressive feature. It's the influence that comes with it. Blackrock has a stake in nearly every major company in the world. It holds shares in the biggest tech firms, the largest banks, the most influential media companies. It's not just a participant in the global economy, it's a driver. As the sun sets, the monolith's shadow grows longer, its reach extending into every corner of the global economy. Blackrock is no longer just a company, it's a force of nature, a tidal wave of money and power that shapes the world as we know it. In the global theater of finance, who pulls the strings? In the world of high finance and global economics, there are players and then there are puppet masters. And Blackrock? Blackrock is the puppet master. Its influence on financial markets and policy is profound and far-reaching, its decisions creating ripples that can turn into tidal waves. Consider this. Blackrock, with its $7.7 trillion in assets under management, is not just a player. It's the coach, the referee, and the owner of the stadium. When Blackrock moves, markets move. When Blackrock speaks, governments and corporations listen. Blackrock isn't just an investment firm, it's a power broker, a kingmaker, a global influencer. Its advisory role to governments and corporations can't be overstated. From restructuring national debts to advising on corporate mergers, Blackrock's fingerprints are all over the world's most significant financial decisions. Look at the financial crisis of 2008. When the world was on the brink, who did governments turn to for advice? BlackRock. Who was called upon to help clean up the mess? BlackRock. And it's not just about advising, it's about influencing. When BlackRock decided to focus on sustainable investing, it wasn't just a business decision. It was a policy statement. A declaration of intent that sent shockwaves through the market. BlackRock's decisions don't just sway markets, they shape them, they mold them, they define them. Whether it's deciding which companies to invest in, which industries to support, or which policies to advocate for, BlackRock's decisions have an outsized impact on the world's financial landscape. And with each decision, with each pull of the strings, BlackRock's position in the global financial theater becomes more entrenched, more secure, more powerful. So, the next time you're wondering who's really pulling the strings in the global theater of finance, remember this: it's not the governments, it's not the banks, it's the puppet master. With each pull of the strings, the puppet master BlackRock further entrenches its position in the global financial theater. But what happens when the puppet master sleeps? Imagine, if you will, a colossal entity, so vast and powerful that it holds sway over the world's economy. It's not a government, not a nation, but a corporation. BlackRock, the unseen behemoth, has its tendrils in every financial pie imaginable. Yet what happens when such a behemoth rests, when the puppet master takes a break? There are concerns, of course, about the sheer size and influence of BlackRock. It's no secret that its reach is far and wide. But what are the potential dangers associated with such a sprawling entity? For starters, BlackRock's size and influence can disrupt markets. If it decides to pull out of a sector or a country, it could cause a financial earthquake, shaking the foundations of economies and leaving ruin in its wake. Then there's the issue of competition, or rather, the lack thereof. BlackRock's monumental size has made it nearly impossible for any other firm to challenge it. It's akin to a single tree towering over a forest, blocking out the sun and stifling the growth of everything beneath it. This lack of competition can lead to complacency, stagnation, and a decrease in innovation. It also amplifies the risk of a potential market failure. Perhaps most alarming is BlackRock's advisory role. It advises governments, central banks, and institutions, wielding an unprecedented level of influence over global economic policy. This is a double-edged sword. While it might offer insights based on its vast data and experience, there's also the potential for conflicts of interest, and the risk of policy decisions being swayed by corporate interests rather than the public good. So, we return to our question. What happens when the puppet master sleeps? When the giant stirs, what tremors will it send through the global economy? What changes will its awakening bring? As the sleeping giant stirs, the world holds its breath, wondering what the dawn will bring. In the shadows of the giant, what does the future hold? As we peer into the opaque crystal ball of tomorrow, one silhouette looms ominously large, that of BlackRock. The firm's tentacles already reach into every corner of the globe, but what happens when they decide to squeeze? According to insiders, BlackRock's future plans include further expansion into emerging markets and new sectors, such as technology and green energy. Yet, as the firm grows, so too does its potential to impact global finance. Picture a world where a single private entity holds the strings to the world's financial puppet show. Imagine the power, the control, the influence. It's a thought that sends shivers down the spine. At the same time, this behemoth's plans for growth could prove beneficial. With their vast resources, BlackRock has the potential to stimulate economic growth, create jobs, and fund new innovations. However, these potential benefits come with a hefty price tag, an increased risk of financial instability and market manipulation. As we step into this unseen future, the need for transparency and regulation becomes paramount. The world can ill afford another financial crisis, and the unchecked power of entities like BlackRock could potentially tip the scales in the wrong direction. We need to ensure that the giants of finance are held accountable, that their actions are transparent, and that they operate within a framework of robust regulation. But as we know, achieving this is easier said than done. Regulation is a double-edged sword, with the potential to both protect and stifle. Striking the right balance will be crucial. And so, we find ourselves on the precipice of a new era. An era shaped by the unseen hand of BlackRock and its ilk. An era where the lines between the public and private sector blur, and the balance of power shifts in unforeseen ways. As we step into the unseen future, one thing remains certain: the shadow of the giant, BlackRock, looms large. The choices we make now, the actions we take, will determine whether this giant is a force for good or a harbinger of financial chaos.